I've got another project with Luna. It has to do with the window motors. I've already replaced the window motor on the driver's side. One of my good buddies, that's a fellow Toyota van owner, Christopher Farmer, had pulled some motors from a 1984, I think it was. He literally gifted them to me, which was just amazing. Once again, shows you how wonderful the Toyota van community is. I've already replaced the one on the driver's side. You had to literally help the window up with your hand. Not pleasant, especially for the wife who's been driving Luna a little bit more than me. So I put that motor in, and even though it was an older motor than the 89 that this van is, it actually works great. Doesn't complain at all going up and down. The design is slightly different, but all in all, it just works perfectly. I am going to try to make this as quick and painless as possible. Let me show you how this motor is working with the passenger side electric window. Let's see how it sounds. With the engine running, it's not necessarily as obvious. In fact, I kind of wonder if I really need to replace it. It does fine on the going down, but on the going up, where it's actually experiencing the friction, it seems like it struggles a little bit. Which in reality, that could be helped by adding a little bit of silicone lubricant to the window channels. It might be something to think about doing. But in the meantime, I'm thinking I might throw that motor in there just to see if it does help it. It's one of those things where I'm right on the edge as to whether or not to do that. This motor I can definitely save. It is definitely not as noisy as the driver's side was. The driver's side window was really struggling. In fact, I've got a clip, I think, when I loaded something onto the Facebook Toyota van group. I might try to mix that in right here. This is the original window motor that came with Luna. Listen to this. So you can see how that was a much noisier window and was really struggling. This one's not as bad, but I might do it just as an exercise to see, make an actual comparison between this motor that came with Luna and the motor that Chris shared with me. Let's see what happens. Got to take this screw out as well. So I'm pushing from the rear as far as it'll go, and then pop it up and pull back a little bit. What it is there's a spring on this front side. So if you push from the rear, it compresses that spring enough to where you can pop the back up and then pull it back again, and it'll unlatch it from this guy. So, and then you've got a thumb depressed clip here. Depress that, it pops right off. Here's a side note. If anyone out there knows of a place where you could get the decals to reapply to this, I would love to update the up and down, all of the switches where these things have faded over time. I would love to find a resource where you could order those and reapply them. So now it's just a matter of getting the door card off. Luna actually has like a little Phillips head over here. I don't think that's original, obviously, because it's a very visible washer and screw. I really think that's like a drywall screw, an afterthought. But and in fact, actually, she has some pins that are not connecting anymore. It's allowing this to float free. So in truth, I need to eventually address that because the door is starting to grab on the door jamb and it's starting to peel this guy. So actually this door card needs to have some attention given to it. I'm going to restore some of that stuff on both sides of this, and you can tell over time the vinyl is peeling away from the card, so it's not doing that great. I need some replacement pieces for this if I really wanted it to be back to its original condition. It is truly a drywall screw. Well, that's all loose. So normally you have pins all the way around this thing, and you would take a flathead screwdriver and you'd pop those pins out. Feels like the only one that I've got a connection with is maybe over here and up high. And then what I'm going to do is once you release this, then you just pick the whole door card up and go over. It'll slide off of your door lock mechanism. Yep, got it. Just lift up over this guy, kind of pull it out and lift it up and off. And you can see on the back side here how it's starting to cause a separation, and this stuff is getting ripped. I need to truly get back in here with some epoxy and epoxy those things together again. Probably need to see if there's anything online about updating this stuff. All right. You obviously have your plastic sheeting that keeps the moisture off the inside of the card. That's there on purpose to keep the water that comes down inside here from having a direct line of contact with your door card. To undo this rod, you have this little connector right here. Usually if I can't do it by hand, what you want to do is you'll pop it off, push it towards the rod, and it'll snap off the rod. A cold winter's day might not be the best time to do this, but anyway, once you snap this off the rod will slide straight down. So you see how it's connected. The hole is where this goes, and then this locks over top of it, hinges and locks on top of the rod. Okay, that's off. Next thing I want to do is grab this plastic and gently peel it back. You can tell it's gotten ripped a number of times prior to my ownership. Somebody's ripped into this pretty good. I usually try to peel this off pretty carefully because I don't really like destroying it. Obviously, if you do mess it up, you can use it as a template to cut a new one. But it is kind of important to keep this plastic intact for keeping mold and mildew off of the inside of the card. You can tell I've been in here before because I put all this sound deadening in here. Okay. And then these wires just pull out through these little sleeves where they're coming through. Pull any stink bugs out that might be dead inside the door. Stink bug carcasses out. I'm going to roll the window up a little bit so that I can get to these bolts that holds the actual glass in the frame. So in order to do that, I need to plug my switch back in, and I'm going to go up until I can see this bolt, and in this hole I want to line that bolt up there. Okay, so I can access this bolt and this bolt through here, and then I can unplug this. Okay, that does that. Don't lose it in the door. Just take your time. So that comes out just like that. You can see how the window has this actually attached to the window itself. It's part of it. Just leave that intact. Down here on the wiring harness, there is a plug that has a little connector right here. Anyway, okay. That is actually connecting to the motor itself. Push the side in and disconnect that. Oof. It also looks kind of melty or gross. It's probably water's gotten in there. I'm sure eventually those things will have to be changed. This actually right here is what connects to the motor itself, which is there. So let's take these out and those. Actually, before disconnecting these, I'm going to take this off and the other one. And then once these are out, that whole apparatus is going to drop. So it'd be good to get a hand on it somewhere. Ah, there we go. There we go. Got it. Just gonna let it rest in there for a second. This hollow right here is how you feed that in and out. Basically, want to get it to, and you can rotate it. There we go. Okay. So there you go. That is what the whole deal looks like. There's your motor with the, I guess it's a worm gear somehow, connects onto the back of that. Now I'm going to take Chris's out of the box and I'm going to just plug it in and see what the two of them sound like in comparison to one another, like what this one sounds like and what Chris's sounds like. So I've already got my switch plugged in and I've got the motor plugged in. Let's see what this sounds like when I go up and down with it. Not nearly as bad as the driver's side. That's the original that came with Luna, the 1989 motor. Although this one doesn't have a distinct audible difference from the downside and the upside, whereas the 89 sounds like I can hear a little bit of a frequency difference between down sounds one way, up sounds a different way. So I don't know, maybe it's worth throwing in the older one and seeing how it sounds. So I'm going to do that. What the heck, might as well. We're here. Let's go ahead and see what it does. It is fiddly, so be prepared for that. There we go. It is in. I want to say I think these are probably some sort of adjustment screw if your window is not quite like seating properly. I would assume that's what this is. I might be wrong. Somebody can correct me, feel free. But it does have the slot is vertically adjustable. That's what makes me think that. Oof, boy, my fingers are numb. I wish I had my drill. This would go a whole lot faster. And all of these things are literally hand tight. That's it. Let's just plug it in first to make sure everything is good. Okay, so let's get this lined up with my window. So that's what I did first, yes. Here we go. Make sure you hit the track. Yep, like so. And keep in mind down here at the bottom of the window, there is a little catch on the bottom of this horizontal. On the back, it's like a little finger. You lay that frame inside that finger and it will hold it how it's supposed to. There we go, like that. We'll pull that till it lines up. That's, tighten that up. With the car cranking, it seems like there's more power running to these switches, so that's why I turned it on. Yeah. Yeah, no problems. Nice and smooth. So let's just put it all back together. Sure that's connected. Do not over tighten this screw in the bottom of this plastic, because if you do, you will break it out of the bottom of the ABS. And if you do that, it's going to be hard to find a replacement. Very nice. So there you have it. That's basically it. It's not super complicated by any means. You saw how fast I did that. It's just that these guys wear out over time. Somebody said these motors are available on Rock Auto, which I have not cross-referenced that. Maybe before I get the edit done, I will find that link and I'll post it up. But and now you know how to change them out. Hope it was helpful. If it was, you know, give it a like. Hope everybody enjoys their vans. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you the next time around. Take it easy.